In this video, I finished the work on the engine bay of my Auction WRX, and I try and start it for the first time since installing the brand new short block. After months of work, hearing it run was a gift.
But I think you would like your other presents too.
I got a lot of codes.
Each of them filled with little surprises.
Would you say I have a plethora?
Oh yes, many.
But let's not get too far ahead. I had to get it back together and filled with fluids before I could even try to start it.
Oh yes, you have a plethora.
The name of the game this afternoon is to get all this stuff buttoned up. The AC stuff mounted back on, fuel lines hooked back up, any vacuum lines, electrical connections. Basically get this thing ready to start. So the AC compressor, is that how it mounts? Does look like that's how it mounts. And this goes like that. There's another bolt that goes back here, and then the bolt that lives under here. This harness needs to go under this AC line. I think these go in here. Looks like this goes here. This connector goes here. And this lead goes on this stud here. And this plug goes there. There's a clip there that goes right there. There's also a clip here that goes right there. I'm gonna go ahead and install the accessory belt. I didn't need to remember the routing because smooth equals back, ribbed equals inner. So I just know, go like this, like that. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I can release the little rod or Allen key that I use to hold it. All right, that's everything up front. Pull this little arm down. Best I can tell, just holds the engine cover on. Connect this, I believe it's a fuel line. Oh, I gotta take the little clip out. Release that up like that. Then it will slide on. Then you can, there we go. Now these, this one has a similar style clip. And I think this one goes here and this one goes here. I think I may have to adjust it. And there was one bolt under here that I didn't get yet. This tube for the brake booster. There we go. And the heater core hoses, I made myself a note. These hoses go to the heater core, and I'm going to verbally give myself a reminder that they cross over. The one that comes out of the fire hall on the left goes into the right and vice versa. They cross over, so the one from the left goes to the right and one from the right goes to the left. Connect the starter terminal. Something I forget here will come back to bite me later. And this bracket that contains a ground strap is actually held in by that bolt that goes through the starter, through the transmission, into the engine block. So I'm gonna take the bolt out, run it through this hole, and it'll be back in its home. I'm gonna torque the transmission bolts to spec in a bit. Now I'm gonna replace this, I believe it's called a pitch stop. And install the new one. Even though all the bolts are installed, I have not torqued any of the transmission bolts. So I'm going to torque them all down to, I believe it's 37 foot-pounds. Torquing these bottom ones to spec is gonna be interesting. I can get some of them, but I don't know if I can get all of them with a straight shot. I don't know if I trust that, but that's the only way I can get to it. And I'm confident it's not gonna back out. And I'm just doing the lower, oh, where is it? Doing the lower one on the starter. And for now, I think that's all I have to do under here. Let's go back up top. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. New gasket. And, ooh, how am I gonna get this back on? Strength. That is not the way to do it, but that's the way I did it. Something that's easy to forget is these grounds. So I'm going ahead and connect this one. There's another one on the other side. And since it's on my mind, I might as well reconnect this ground as well. And this area is going to be a lot neater since the aftermarket blow-off valve setup is gone. Because of my inexperience with this engine, I forgot that this is mounted here for this connector. And that is a transmission bolt that I have already torqued. So I have to take it out. And now I can connect that and put it in its home. The radiator, or as I like to say, the radiator. I'm underneath the car making sure that the grommets lined up. And now they do. Gummit, it won't go over the lip. There we go. And next up was the intercooler and the intake. All right, intake box going back in. I'm going to call it quits for tonight because I am misplacing tools. I'm hungry, thirsty, but I'll be back. And the next day I was back at it. I started with the coolant reservoir. This reservoir has a hole that this goes to in the bottom, and then this goes in this slot, and then it goes onto this little knob here. It's like a kid's puzzle. Seat the bottom first, then the top can go in. Dropped one of the nuts, and I don't know where it is. My little bleeder kit. I really like this thing. All right, so what I'm gonna do is fill it up with distilled water first to see if there's any leaks. And I immediately have a leak, and I know where it's from. It's from the plug. All right, so I tighten the plug, and now I'm gonna go up to Subaru to pick up a new filter, actually a couple new filters, some washers, and then pick up some oil. And I'm gonna drive my Mark IV Golf. Just got back from Subaru, picked up a new oil filter, even though this one has only been on for a couple 100 miles. I don't like boxers compared to inline fours for working on, but this oil filter location is the bee's knees. What does that even mean? What does the bee's knees mean? I don't know. 5.4 quarts, 5W30. With water and oil in the car, it was then time to try and start it. I was nervous, excited, and anxious all at the same time. As a precaution, I removed the fuel pump fuse so that it wouldn't try to idle before it built up oil pressure. Here we go, plugging her up for the first time. So with the battery fully connected, got in the car, turned the key, and it did nothing. It was supposed to crank, but not start. The battery still has good voltage. Did I hook up the starter? I think I did, but let me check. See that spade terminal that has nothing on it? That's what I forgot to connect. So I'm going to connect that and try again. There, it was a black connector dangling right beside it. I just forgot it. So again, with the fuel pump fuse disconnected, it should try and turn over, but it shouldn't idle. Still nothing. I don't know. I was about to say I don't know what's happening. Then all of a sudden, it was like the car came out of hibernation. I don't know what happened, but the car finally decided to wake up. I guess it had to initialize stuff. So let me try this again. Alright, so let's turn it over. Doesn't sound crazy. Put the fuel pump fuse in. I'm gonna clear the codes and let's see what we got. Here goes nothing. At this point, you think of all the things you've touched, all the things you've replaced, and wonder if you forgot anything. But there's always a chance that everything goes perfectly. So let the fuel pump prime and gave it a go.
Swing and a miss, and he went down to his knees.
So I tried it again, and it started to idle. It didn't sound perfect, but this was a step in the right direction. Well, it ran for a little bit, and it smoked a lot. I'm gonna try again. Seems like it took a while to find itself after being turned off and with a new block. Not heated up yet. No leaks so far, but we're not out of the woods yet. But that is indeed a step in the right direction. I got a lot of codes. Ignition coil A, ignition coil C, ignition coil circuits open. A, B, C, and D, well that can't be because that's 4 control circuits and they all can't be open because it's running. TGV valve control stuck closed bank 2, TGV stuck open bank 2. Maybe that was the one I replaced. It can't be stuck open and stuck closed. O2 sensor low voltage. That may be real. Well, it got to temperature. I'm convinced that the coolant / water is bled. I'm gonna go get something to eat, let it cool down, and see if I can address what's happening with this oxygen sensor. And do a bit of research about these TGV controls, because how can they be stuck open and closed? So the engine has cooled enough for me to say that I can take this off, sit it right there, put the cap on, put the rest in here, top it off a little. Of the codes I had, the first thing I wanted to look into was the TGV issue, because that is something I replaced, and I'm wondering if the new one just doesn't work. I might be able to just take the bolts out and slide it out. I'm gonna give that a shot. All right, so I've already disconnected it. Let's see, can I slide it out? I think I'll be able to. That was easier than I thought. So let's go over to the table and see what we got going on. So I took the actuator off and there was nothing externally that led me to believe anything was wrong with it. But I did learn something. After a bit of reading, I think there is a sensor and it finds its correct location. So my conclusion is that the new one I bought is actually messed up. What I can do is put the old one on and see if the problem resolves itself. And then try and order a new one if it does. Maybe I just ordered a bad one. I was singing eBay's praises earlier, but there's no way to know a part is good until you actually use it. Let's see if getting it in is as easy as taking it out. And it wasn't. But with my new knowledge, I know that next time I do not have to remove the valve itself. I can just take the actuator off the end. All right, where's that plug? Previously, when I turned the ignition on, I would hear what sounded like an electric motor trying to turn against something. I didn't know what it was, but I have concluded that it was this actuator. It was just stuck. So if that sound is gone, I think I'm good. All right, I think we're good. And as far as the oxygen sensor, I checked it out and it just looked like a pinched seal. So I moved it and it clicked in nicely. So let's start it again and see if we have any issues. So the car sounded better and the smoke had drastically improved, and that was nearly a cold start. So I had to get back in the car and see if we had any more codes. And the codes for the ignition coil circuits was still there, but I did have an inkling as to what it might be. In a previous video, I said something like, I'm not going to fully connect everything until I know I have everything routed correctly. Well, there's a chance I didn't tighten down some grounds. The bolts are under the intercooler and I could almost get to them from below, but it's easy to access them from above. So this bolt and this bolt ground the harness, and I forgot to tighten them. I think that is why I was getting the codes for the ignition coils. So they're getting tightened now. After I torqued the bolts down, I put the intercooler back in again, and then it was time to start the car and see what errors remained. Let's see. It's already idling smoother. All trouble codes are either in the past or pending. Alright, so I'm gonna try and clear the codes and come back and see what happens. Alright, no more trouble codes. Let's see if any generate when we start up again. No trouble codes. None. No check engine light. I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't think you know how good it feels. For the most of the time I've had this car, I've had a check engine light and some kind of code that I'm chasing down. As of now, there are no codes, no pending codes or anything. Not out of the woods yet, I gotta drive it, but that makes me very happy. Can't drive it legally for probably a couple days because I have to go get a special waiver. I'm happy I didn't screw up the new short block install. And yeah, catch you on the next one.